to the losers.
We made an oath.
I swear. If it isn't dead, if it ever comes back, we'll come back to it.
The Losers Club. Don't look yet. The Losers Club reunites. Pennywise aims for revenge in It, Chapter 2. Behind the lens is a pair of siblings who have mastered the macabre. Back for the follow-up to the highest-grossing horror film of all time. Please welcome director Andy Muschietti and producer Barbara Muschietti. There you can look again now.
Buongiorno, good morning.
Buongiorno.
Congratulations on the success, if I could say it, of this movie. Apparently, the pre-ticket sales are already on track to be another record breaker. So this was one of the highest-grossing horror films of all time, the first one. So when you approach the second one, you're like, let's do something a little different. So we fast forward something like, what, 27 years?
Yes.
And where does that bring us?
27 years later, the same bunch of kids are now in their 40s, and they're summoned back to Derry because it is back.
And it's scary. In Derry.
Mesmerized.
Can we talk about that cast? What a cast.
Yes, we got extremely lucky. We found, there were 3 criteria that we were looking for. One, that they were excellent actors. Second, that they looked exactly like the kids did, because, it throws us out of the film.
Well, and the kids are back. They play a prominent role in this part, too.
Well, that as well. That as well. It was necessary to have the kids, and Andy wanted to respect the book format, which is a dialogue between the 2 timelines. So we had the kids back as well.
So Bill Hader, Jessica Chastain, Isaiah Mustafa. It's just it goes on and on.
Yes, just James McAvoy.
Some of those actors are more established. The other ones are like, they've been actors that have been working on their careers, but they weren't as prominent. But you see the movie, and it's incredible how they're all in the same level of performance and talent. It's just like amazing.
Did you approach this movie the same as the first? What are the expectations compared to the first movie with the success that?
Well, I wanted to make, I was lucky enough to have a bigger canvas to work on, a bigger budget, and it's when you have budget limitations, it's a little frustrating. I'm not saying that we had them on Chapter 1.
Sometimes that instills creativity, budget limitations.
Yeah, yes. 100%. But guess what increases creativity? Bigger budgets.
Yeah, and look what you did with fewer bucks. So imagine now, are you kidding me? And I love that you chose Toronto. Yeah. We can look for a lot of creepy areas. Why do you find our city creepy? Why Toronto?
You know what? We've shot everything we've ever done in Toronto. We shot our first film, Mama, our second film, It Chapter 1, a TV show called Lock and Key, and now It Chapter 2, all in Toronto and the surrounding areas. This is our second home, and we love it.
What's the attraction?
What's the attraction?
Yeah,
we have the best crew in the world. It's our family. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
We're going to see them tonight, actually.
10 years. We've been working here for almost 10 years, and we gathered a family. Working with the people that we started working, and it's just great. To come back to production and find the same people that you have been working with, and it's really a family. There's a huge human quality.
Listen,
here.
Speaking of family, brother and sister, you're what, a year apart? You just had a birthday. Happy belated.
She's 20 years older than me.
What's your secret? And the amazing thing is you work so closely together. You're not sick of that joke at all. Who scared more who growing up? How did you become why are you so in love with the horror genre? Did you guys always scare each other?
Our parents scared us. That's the key of it all.
No, we have great parents.
No, they're great, but they exposed us to movies very early in life because they love movies, and some of them were scary.
Yeah.
So we would watch horror movies on Saturday nights, and it was like a family activity. It was a lot of fun, but we freaked out.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, did you go to sleep after? Were you all in the same bed?
No. Everybody in their own bed. I'm braver. He was a little, of a scaredy cat when he was a kid, which is good. It's good.
So
do you watch more movies now?
Oh yes. Oh, we love them. It's really, to me personally, I get a high when I watch a great horror film one that has emotion, like the ones we make. You know, it's my favorite genre. So,
what is it about it that really does capture so many people of all ages psychologically? What is it that captures their inner fears? What do you think it is?
Well, it's a story about like human experience. It's a story about trauma. And you can go to the movies and realize that, you know, you're watching a great horror adventure, but it's like deep, you know, it has deeper layers. You know, that's why I think people like it, because they're talking about you know, human relationships and human psychology and human behavior. It's it wouldn't work otherwise, I think. You know.
And there are scenes in it that the opening scene is quite shocking, and it's not for the horror scene of it. It's just, it's a real life possibility of the gay bashing.
Well,
Oh yeah, and it was based on a real life murder in 1984, the murder of Charlie Howard. Stephen King was writing it when that happened in Bangor, in his hometown, and you know, guess what? He was writing about like the cruelty of humans in small town, you know, America, and this happened, and for him it was very important to include it back then. For me, it was very important to include it back now, where these things still keep happening.
As a reminder, so that we don't make the same mistakes, right? It finds its way through the art form, and of course that thrill, as you mentioned, of feeling that fear and never being able to look at a red balloon the same way again. You are in for a fright when It Chapter 2 hits theaters next Friday, September 6th. Thank you so much for all that you do and for being here today.
Guys.
Thank you very much for joining us.
I hope you enjoyed it.
Any more brothers and sisters?
No.
This is it.
That's it.
This is
Your
it.
parents said that was enough, right? You were born and that was it, right?
Yes, exactly. 20 years later.
Yeah.
The last one.
That's it.
That was an accident.
We'll be back with more BT right after this. That was awesome.
Thank you very much.
So you guys are going to be back again.